Hi, I'm Angeline.
I'm Wren.
And I'm Nameera. And this is Operation Tomatometer.
Today we have some very special guests.
My name is Emerald.
My name is Laura.
I'm Arietta.
And let's get on to the episode. So, if you haven't been expelled from your school from dropping piranhas into your school swimming pool, then you would have known about Tim Burton's newest show, Wednesday.
This Addams Family spinoff follows only daughter Wednesday Addams. Wednesday is attending Nevermore Academy, a school for troubled children. After her ruthless retaliation against her brother's bullies led to her expulsion from her high school, Wednesday uses her newfound psychic abilities to solve the murder mystery haunting the town, all while navigating her new environment and the meaning of friendship.
Now let's get on to the reviews. So, I personally really liked this show. I thought Tim Burton made an aesthetic that was different from other teen shows that I've seen.
No, it's not that.
Off the bat.
Right.
No.
I really feel like it's so, maybe it's just like Netflix. Maybe, okay, also the CW, but I don't know. It's it just seems like the regurgitation of the same formula. Quirky teens find thing, and then it turns to this murder mystery, because somehow it's always a murder mystery.
But you have to admit, the plot twist was pretty good. But I think, someone pointed this out to me before, the plot twist is only good if you get, hints beforehand, and, you can watch it back. You've seen it again, right? Were you able to tell that Tyler was the monster?
Okay, so I feel like with Tyler, the only way you can really... I don't know. I know Nameera said that Nameera sort of caught it beforehand.
A little.
But, I don't know. I feel like... I don't know. I didn't catch it personally, but I feel like I just didn't watch it good enough. I feel like the teacher was more suspicious. But I don't know. I feel like there weren't that many hints. I don't know about if you guys saw hints particularly.
Personally, I didn't see any hints pointing to Tyler being the Hyde. I thought that there were many other, more villainous characters that would fit the role, rather than just a regular guy in a regular town.
But he did seem too good to be true.
Exactly.
I see that now. But, with Xavier, they made it too obvious that, obviously it wasn't
red
gonna
herring.
be him.
Right,
yeah,
right.
but it was, too obvious of a red herring, where you could tell immediately. They weren't gonna show the monster the second episode. That wouldn't make sense. So I feel like if they introduced his character and his problems a little later, it would have been more effective as a red herring.
Right.
Yeah, but the thing that kind of stood out to me when I was watching it, something that didn't make sense to me, was there was this one scene about the normie teacher's coffee order, and it was matcha once, and then it was something else when Tyler said it, and I was like, there we go. I was like, that's it.
You remembered that? When you saw that scene, you were like, oh my god, it was matcha before.
I was like, no, because the way that he said it with such, I don't know why, it took a solid amount of time talking about it in the middle of the dance too. Yeah. I was like, this looks sus. And then I was just I already had suspicions about Tyler because he seemed too good to be true. Right. But also, he looked like the Hyde.
I was gonna say that, but I was
about that.
He kind of looks like it.
Because I remember when I rewatched the show and I was looking at his eyes, I was like, oh, that is the Hyde.
He looks straight out of Plants vs. Zombies.
Yeah,
so animated
and
for no reason.
I've heard everyone say that the CGI is very Tim Burton, but I'm like, why is that his style? It doesn't fit the show at all.
What else has been Tim Burton? Nightmare Before Christmas?
Yeah,
but
that was an animation.
But his live action stuff is what?
But I feel
I don't know. But I was like,
that's out of place.
it was so weird. And it took me out because I never thought the Hyde was scary. I always thought Xavier's drawings were so much more intimidating than the actual.
Scratchy.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. Also, going back to it, I just feel like it's just this revival. Why I dislike it. It feels like this yassification. I'm saying it. No, it is this yassification of older shows. Riverdale, Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Riverdale.
Sabrina the Teenage Witch, and now the Addams Family. And it's just you're translating it for teens, and they talk about TikTok, so you can watch it.
Oh my god!
I hate Enid's line so much.
Oh god, it's just so, I don't know, it just seems so formulaic to me. I think the worst part for me was Wednesday's dialogue.
Really?
Wednesday's dialogue is supposed to be
Enid's. One hundo.
Enid was trying to appeal
also, but
Kitty's
are
got
you
claws.
kidding me?
What does that mean?
Every single line that Wednesday had had to be this like one-liner that's like, oh, I'm so pretty edgy. It's like she regurgitated a 2016 Tumblr blog.
I felt the first episode had that problem, and I got more used to it as it went on. But the first episode, I was definitely like,
what the?
But that's how Wednesday is.
Like
very,
her personality.
Right, I get it, but
I do see what you mean.
But that's not. Like, I feel like it was, like, overdone. Like, her character was just so, like, in the first episode especially.
Yeah,
you
I think
do get more used to
was
it.
The worst one
but
with that.
It was, like, it was just constantly slammed. Reminder, guys, she's a freak, guys. Do you remember that? Do you remember she's edgy?
That's who she is!
Yeah.
But, like, every
her
single
character.
one. But, like, I feel like characters have a range of emotion.
But no, Wednesday's whole
Wednesday.
thing is
Not
that she
her.
doesn't have a range of emotions. The other ones don't have an excuse.
Yeah, at least
I feel
they
like
were consistent with
Tyler's
her
range of
character.
emotion was like a weird
No,
smirk.
that's what I think.
No,
Yeah.
he would always look confused. It pissed me off when the show. He always looked like hurt and like confused. I'm like, girl, what's going on?
I don't feel
he
like Wednesday is consistent in her character. I think that because she's like this bad person, right? No, like a person who feels apathy.
She's not
also,
bad, though.
Yeah.
She's not the villain.
Right. So then
Yeah.
she does have like more than one emotion. She clearly is so I don't know, like write it into her dialogue so she isn't this like I don't know, like she's just so Guys, I'm just such a misunderstood hero. Please, like I don't know.
I mean,
I didn't get
in
that
your
vibe from
face.
her.
It kind of.
Me neither.
I mean, we did see some emotion with like her little love interest
Right.
here. Come on, people,
I'm
let's
trying.
just keep
Oh, we're gonna go
going.
into the Tyler and Xavier debate now.
Yup.
Alright, who
So-
here is Team Xavier?
I mean, okay.
Wait, really? What?
You guys.
Xavier, you're Tyler?
Wait, I just
I would
really
actually-
quickly. I want Laura to tell the people like this, like what Emerald did to her. Like,
I did nothing.
please.
Whoa.
Okay, listen to this.
Okay, well, disclaimer, right? I feel that Wednesday isn't really one who would have a love interest, so the love
Yeah.
interest did seem very forced onto her.
Right,
Kinda
'cause it's like this
threw it
teenage show.
onto her. Right,
I agree.
exactly. Like shows think that like, oh, in order for it to be interesting, there has to be like some type of romance, right?
Yeah.
But to be honest, right, I do think they're both decent options in a way, but I think Xavier is the more moral type of person. I mean, he's not a bloodthirsty monster.
Okay, but if disclaimer, we are talking about Tyler before episode 8.
There's nothing wrong with being a bloodthirsty monster.
No,
I'm just
he
saying.
was being possessed.
Guys, he's being
That's my
possessed.
personal
That's
opinion.
why
Yes.
he murdered 18 people. Guys, but he was being possessed.
No, but okay, but how? I think that's where the potential for season 2 comes in because we don't understand yet how it affects him. Because if the Hyde part of him is activated, then it's like how much of him is Tyler and how much of him is the Hyde. We
Right.
don't know that
Exactly. It's hard to
distinction
tell.
yet. So, because he could just be really evil, or the Hyde could be a sort of different part of him. Because I think they make references to like Jekyll and Hyde and how it's like
Yeah.
So
that's cool.
yeah,
I
so I
hated that
think-
book.
What?
Sorry.
I've
It was
never read it.
alright.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure like I think season 2 will clarify a lot about him.
I love a good redemption arc. Like,
Yeah,
I'm just
that's
gonna put
what
that
I'm
out
saying.
there.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with being a bloodthirsty monster.
Oh, wait, quick question.
That's what I did to say.
The first time that the Hyde saves Wednesday, do y'all think it was because he was ordered to, or if it was like he actually wanted to save her? Because that's something that I always wondered about. I was like, I don't know.
I think the show wants you to think that it was because, you know.
Well,
make
Well, we didn't know who he was.
Right,
Yeah.
but it's like,
yeah.
but you know, like the show wants you to think that later for you to remember, oh, he saved her because
yeah.
they were meant to be because it was written in the stars and they were, you know, her on his, you know, soulmate, had to save her even if she didn't, I don't know.
I don't think my interpretation of it was that the Miss Thornhill needed Wednesday's
Blood.
blood
Yeah.
for the, and I think it said living, so I interpreted it as Wednesday had to be alive when she was giving the
Yeah.
blood.
Oh,
So
I
if
see.
Tyler had killed her then, she would have been dead. And the ceremony wasn't ready to resurrect the pilgrim guy. So I was thinking that he was commanded not to
Kill her.
kill
Yeah.
her.
So then you think it's intentional? Because I think it was
Yeah.
just like, it just happened. Like, I'm a believer. Like,
Yeah.
maybe.
No, I take that stance, but I think maybe it could also have gone the other way. But, Tyler apologized.
I think it was
He's fine.
also to make the viewers think it was Xavier, because Xavier was a contender for being
Oh,
a
yeah.
monster in the. Was that the
Yeah.
first episode? In the first episode.
She did him so dirty for that one.
Yeah, and we obviously know he
Poor
already
dude.
saved him once. So I think, at least I thought, oh, it's definitely Xavier at that point, because he's saving her again without any hesitation.
That was the thing. If we go back to, like, the hints leading up, I feel like for me, personally, the only way I was able to guess who it was after they... Like, I didn't realize it was Tyler until they put Xavier in jail. And then I was like, oh, it's Tyler. And then I didn't realize it was Miss Thornhill until the therapist died. And I was like, oh, it's not the therapist. But I feel like I just watched the show, like, non-critically. And so then I didn't catch anything.
I could have never been the teacher. It had to be,
it was
like...
the teacher. Isn't Thornhill the teacher?
No, but I feel like the monster couldn't have been the teacher.
Oh, no, not the monster. I mean,
I
thought
it was Weems for, like, a hot minute.
Like, I mean, I thought the therapist was Laurel Gates.
Right.
And then once they killed the therapist, I was like, it's the teacher.
Yeah. I got really weird vibes from Thornhill since the beginning, which I think I did look it up. Like, I think you all know she's the younger, or she's the older Wednesday. Which, like... Obviously, they're not going to bring her in and not give her a big role.
Right.
I think that would be like a waste of opportunities.
Yeah.
Right.
But then we were back on the conversation with Xavier, so I guess since most of us are Tyler, like, do you guys have
take pride in that.
Do you guys have a reason for not liking... Like, what is your... not choosing Xavier?
My man, he's weird and brooding and always waiting on her. Yeah. Like your life can't be just her all the time. Like, you gotta, like, do your own thing. And I feel like every single thing that he does is her, and then she just straight up does not like take it in. I mean, there are times where it's like, oh, like, she'll, like, walk with him, whatever, etc. But, like, I think it's not natural enough until the end. Until he gives her the phone, I kind of get it. I'm like, okay,
That's weird too. Well, like, she's actually gonna change her character to actually text him.
Yeah, and I just want to mark, as soon as he gives her a phone, she has a stalker. So I'm just saying nothing good ever came from Xavier. What did he do that was good?
That's true, actually.
Now she's getting stalked already?
He also just, like, plot-wise seems like a really thrown-in character.
Yeah.
He was just the other man.
No, definitely.
Yeah,
the other man.
I know what you mean. Like, they can't make Tyler and, like, be the only contender for Wednesday. They needed, like, this other force.
Love triangle.
Like, they needed to be like,
I wanted Enid. Sorry. I think Enid would have been much better. Gets her,
grumpy sunshine enjoyer.
And, like, they're actually close now, so just saying.
Yeah.
Also, the dancing scene.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I think Jenna Ortega
Killed it.
would not have... This show would not have been successful if not for Jenna Ortega. That dance scene was, like, the gothic style and dance with, like...
And she choreographed it.
Oh, did she?
Yeah,
she choreographed it herself.
And, like, the way her movements are so jerky, but her face is still so, like, it's perfect. That scene is wonderful.
And
everything else
this
sucked.
part, that's my favorite.
Oh my god. I love the way her bangs ended up looking while she was dancing. Like, it was just a really nice
so
scene.
nice.
But everything else sucked.
But can we talk about plot holes? Because I feel like there's a really big plot hole in the dance scene. What's his name? Eugene is in the woods by himself. But then Tyler and the teacher are at the dance. How does he get attacked?
There was, like, a TikTok that explained it.
Oh, yeah!
No, I think because, like, Thornhill, like, she would, like, disappear during the dance. Like, there were, like, parts of it where she was gone.
But I wish they made that more
And then she would, like, come back.
Yeah.
And then, like, at the end, you know, after, like, the blood scene?
Right.
Yeah.
Like, Tyler left her there. And then, so, like, he went to the woods.
I think the confusion comes from, like, the fact that Wednesday is getting a vision that is, like, it might be the future, not the present. So then she runs, and then there's... So it's a lot of different confusing things. And I was also confused, because I was like, weren't they just there? And then it's also not established, like... Because Nevermore is in the woods, so it's not really established, like, where the den is in relation to... But I think another plot hole, I just showed it to you earlier, was that, like, the first time when Tyler hurts himself on purpose at the Gates mansion, he's fully clothed. So he turned into the hide, and then he scratches himself, I guess, and he's fully clothed. But then in the last episode...
He's naked.
Yeah. He's naked. So I don't understand what...
How he did that.
Also doesn't make any sense.
Because I doubt he brought an identical set of clothes and then wounded himself completely and then just changed clothes. I don't know. That part didn't make sense to me either.
Like, it was like enough plot holes that you could tell, but also, like, every movie has plot holes. It's just... Yeah.
So Xavier had the better scar. I'm gonna say that one.
Also, I feel like the whole thing with the hide was so... Like, why didn't the hide kill Eugene? Like, why did Eugene... He was just in a coma? Like,
maybe that's season 2.
I don't know. I just feel like the hide...
They got a lot to explain season 2, just saying. Like, there's too much on that plate.
Yeah.
And also,
very different.
why was the Hyde killing just like random people in the forest in the beginning? Because in the beginning of the movie, there's this random hiker just sitting there, and then apparently he was pronounced dead. Like after, like what?
Weren't they collecting body parts?
Yeah.
They must have
collected
body
two
parts.
toes.
Right.
Remember that one foot he took 2 toes from, and that was it.
Yeah,
what was that about?
It seems like a waste
Why
of
is
a
it so
foot.
specific? You know, like I know they're trying to build up that one guy, but why 2 toes? You know?
And it wasn't even consecutive toes. It was like the big toe and then like the third one. I was like, what did the pilgrim need those for?
Oh my god, wait, the pilgrim stuff. Okay. Okay, respectfully, I think it had a lot of potential to be something fleshed out over like 3 seasons. Why did we do in 1?
Right.
Yeah.
And also, like, why was he defeated in like literally 2 seconds?
Yeah.
Because it just made everything like so pointless. Like, you did all this work for so long, and then you just like defeated him in like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Also, how did he have magic? Where did that come
Exactly.
from?
I was so
That's
confused.
true.
Wasn't he against it?
Right, yeah.
He was all like, oh my god, I hate these outcasts with their stupid powers, and then he has a magic staff? Like, I think you should have gone to Nevermore. Like, what are you doing?
And like, oh yeah, Goody Addams with the blonde hair. They could have gotten someone else. What else?
thought he was someone else.
No, I knew it was her. I was like, what y'all do here? Like, I just think that like that plot point is like, if you rush it, like there's no reason to rush it. Like we all know that Tim Burton's making the show, that it's gonna be from Netflix. It's gonna be something that like teens will watch. But like you could have fleshed it out so that it had more meaning and it would have a better setup for a fight. Like I want like at least like a solid like 2/3 of the episode being towards this fight, not like the last 4 minutes.
Right, exactly.
Should we talk about scores?
Yes.
So, I don't know if you guys know, we each come up with our own score, and then we try and convince each other to make one score, one Tomatometer score. So I guess we'll have 6 scores to try
to debate over.
I can do the math. Someone
this
else.
one's gonna be challenging, so.
Guys, I'm a hater.
I feel like even after
Okay, listen. I don't know. I'm so tired of companies being able to get away with it, which is I feel like, and it's like every time, but no one's gonna stop, and it's like I just don't want this. But it's like I'm not.
Well, we haven't had something like this for a long time.
Really?
Though. I'm gonna say that.
Really? I feel like I've seen too much of this.
Well, I did see an interesting critique saying that like the reason the Wednesday season 1 might be so generic is to pull in that audience, and then once they have the audience, they can be more experimental.
If they do
I'm hoping
that,
that's what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know? But for right now, it just feels like teenagers.
I think my score would be a solid 87. I think it was well received. I received it well for sure. Like I binged it in a couple days, which is pretty good on my end.
Right. I say all these things, but I also like watched it like obsessively. So.
And like I find myself talking about it to like a lot of people, and like I have strong opinions on the show, so I think it's doing really well in that sense. And I think it was an interesting concept. I'm excited to see where it goes. So an 87 is good for me.
Yeah, that was actually the exact number I was thinking of.
Okay.
So I would give an 87 as well. I really, like I said, I like we said, I obsessively binged the show because I was like, oh my god, what's going on? And then for me personally, because for some reason I didn't catch on to the twists and stuff, I thought that it was more enjoyable for me because I was like, oh no, what's happening? And then I do think like right now it is a little bit more on the generic side, but I did enjoy it a lot, so that's why I would also give it an 87.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna jump in and say 83 just because I feel like the characters weren't fleshed out enough, and I get that it's just the first season, but they had 8 hours to do this, right? Like in a movie, you gotta flesh out the characters.
Right, and only 3 hours, right?
But it just, there were so many plot holes that I couldn't fully understand where the show was gonna go. So I'm gonna stick with 83, which is still really good compared to our other scores.
Laura, Emerald.
I mean, I'd say like an 85.
Okay.
I feel like there were a lot of things that, characters being more fleshed out and touched upon, but also, like, I felt like there were so many things that I didn't understand in the beginning. Like, there was one thing about Wednesday that I didn't really like. She just kept on accusing, like, pointing to, like, people like, oh, you're the Hyde. You're the Hyde. You're the Hyde.
But that's her character.
But it's also, like...
See?
Right. And it was, like, a little frustrating, because, like, once we got to, the last, 2 episodes, or, the last episode where they were, revealing everything, I was just like, oh, well, now she's just going around to everyone and pointing fingers, you know?
Right.
So it's, like, I mean, there were just some things that I didn't like about it, but overall, I really liked it, like, minus those points. So like a solid 85.
I would say an 88 or 89. Like, I don't know about you guys, but like you guys were critiquing it. I was just watching it for fun.
Right.
Like, I didn't really notice anything.
Mm-hmm.
I was just there, just watching. And, like, I just finished it in 2 days, so it was like enjoyable.
Right, but me too.
All right.
Yeah.
I feel like the only reason I had critiques was because I
guys.
watched it twice.
Yeah.
So,
Damn.
yeah.
So you caught everything.
I watched it once with my friend and once on my own. That's what happened.
After taking all your points into consideration, I made a very serious... No, I'm kidding. No, I get it, and I think going back to Emerald's point, like, people aren't watching this to be like, you know, like, I want to be an analyst, but also, there are two wolves inside of me. One wolf is saying, it's just a show, you can turn off your brain and watch it. And it's not like it was boring bad, because I think that's the worst type of bad film, like, where it's boring, you can't stand it. It was like, it's boring, but I'm also gonna watch everything. You know, it's like, that's like, hate. It's not even hate watching. It's like, of course I enjoyed some parts. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know, it's hard for me. I know it's like, just stop thinking about it, but I can't stop thinking about how this is gonna, I don't know, this is what producers and like directors think, I don't know, like teens like I want something different, you know, but this formula is working. That's the problem, because it works. Like as you guys can all see, like this is something widely discussed in school. Like people know about it, people talk about it, and all that, which is great. But it's like that means it's just gonna be more of this for the next few years, and I don't know. That doesn't sound very appetizing to me. But at the same time, as Arietta said, if they have a season 2, it could potentially be fleshed out. Like I'm excited to see that as well. So I would go solid 78.
Okay.
So it's not that bad,
right? Higher than past ones.
Do we want to average it out, or do we want to fight for your score valiantly?
I think since 2 of us said 87, it should be 87. I think that's how
I agree with
Amber
that.
said 89. You said
Yeah.
85?
85, yeah.
85. I
I can't do math.
do
What
like
the calculator?
I'm gonna go 83.
I'm gonna guess 85.
We can go with 83, guys.
I
Honestly,
think my score's in the
we could
middle.
go like average it out to be a 84.
84.5.
84.5.
I'm okay with an
Sure.
84.
Okay.
84.
That has to be. That's 84. We didn't talk about Thing at all.
Okay,
Hey.
we love Thing.
Have you seen
We love
how
Thing.
he
We
was
love
a
Thing.
character?
I almost
He was
cried
a
when he got
He was a
hurt.
real hand.
Yeah.
That's so
I cried
cool.
when he got hurt. Like almost. I was like, oh no.
I was
We
so
didn't talk
afraid
about
that he was gonna
Fester.
die.
Yeah, same.
If he
Okay.
died, I would have cried.
Uncle Fester.
I love
what do we
Fester.
think?
I love Fester.
Uncle Fester's.
He was so funny, but he was very like.
I
I
wish
feel
he
like the
played
show
more
had a
of a
certain
role.
tone, and he
And he was
so
all
Right,
out of
right,
it.
that's what- yeah, that's
he
what I
made her
felt.
smile.
Yeah.
And
Love
but
Fester,
we
love
love
Thing.
Thing.
We love Thing.
Yeah,
best
Thing
character.
is the best.
And I think that about wraps up today's episode.
Stay tuned for more Tomatastic content from Operation Tomatometer and Apple Podcasts, and check out the Classic and the Classic Critic on Instagram and TikTok page at Townsend Harris Classic to see our bloopers, behind the scenes, and other cool projects we are working on.
Another big thank you to Emerald, Laura, and Arietta for joining us on today's episode.
Good job,
Thank
guys.
you.
Thank you.
Hope you enjoyed. See you next week.
Bye.